You didn't disappear. You became irrelevant. Nothing stopped. Nothing paused. Nothing waited. The system kept working as if you were still there. Results were delivered. Targets were met. The flow continued. Not because you were replaced, but because you were never required. This is the part people avoid. Not failure, not collapse. Replacement without intention. The realization that strength doesn't make you necessary. It only makes you efficient. This is not about ambition, not about leadership, not about confidence or discipline. This is not a story about strong personalities. It's about structures, systems that don't measure presence, only output, only consistency, only results. If something works, it stays. If it doesn't, it disappears. No judgment, no intention, just continuation. It's tempting to personalize this, to turn it into a story about character or choice or will. But systems don't read character. They read signals. What can be predicted? What can be repeated? What doesn't interrupt the flow? Everything else feels like noise. Systems don't look for the strongest. They look for the smoothest. Not the most capable, the most compatible. Those who don't ask for clarification. Those who don't interrupt the process. Those who deliver without friction. This is not preference, it's filtration. Anything that slows the flow is gradually removed. Not punished, not confronted. Simply not selected again. This is where the illusion breaks. People assume selection means recognition, that being chosen means being valued. But systems don't value. They stabilize. What looks like trust is often just tolerance, and tolerance has a threshold. At some point, performance replaces presence. Conversations turn into updates. Interactions turn into metrics. People turn into outputs. You're not asked how you are. You're asked if it's done. Visibility becomes optional. Availability becomes expected. The system doesn't need you to be there. It needs you to function. This is where isolation begins. Not because someone pushed you away, but because nothing pulls you closer. When presence adds no value, it slowly fades from the equation. And the silence that follows doesn't feel hostile. It feels efficient. No one isolates you. No meeting ends abruptly. No door is closed in your face. No access is revoked. You're still included. But inclusion no longer requires interaction. You wear the mask of professionalism. Calm, reliable, efficient. And over time, the mask stops coming off. Not because you chose it, but because the system never asks what's underneath. Years pass without your face being required, and at some point, you no longer remember which expression came first. This is how identity erodes quietly, not through pressure, not through conflict, but through absence of demand. When nothing asks for your presence, the mask becomes the face, and no one notices the transition. This experience is often described emotionally as pressure, as loneliness, as distance. From the inside, it feels personal, but from the outside, it's structural. The coffee machine still works, the lights still turn on, the system still recognizes the building. Only your access code quietly stops working, not as a decision, not as an event, just as a setting. The same pattern appears across different systems, different roles, different environments, not because people are the same, but because the structure is. Some lenses stay close to the feeling. They talk about isolation, about strength, about what it costs to keep going. That perspective exists elsewhere in this system. Another division looks at the same phenomenon from the inside, through humor, discomfort, and human contradiction. If you want to look at this from a different angle, you can step into Punchline Protocol, not for answers, just to feel the structure from closer range. The strongest position is the one that doesn't need to be seen. No validation, no applause, no confirmation. Influence without visibility, control without presence, decisions made without explanation. The system doesn't reward strength, it rewards stability, and stability doesn't require witnesses. This is where most people get confused. They expect power to announce itself, to signal importance, to demand attention. But the most durable forms of control are quiet. They don't need to prove anything. Nothing breaks. Nothing collapses. Nothing needs to be fixed. The system doesn't fail when someone becomes invisible. It adjusts. Roles shift. Functions realign. Processes continue. What disappears is not power. It's the need to notice. This is the uncomfortable part. There's no villain here, no mistake to expose, no switch to turn off, just a structure doing exactly what it was designed to do, and it doesn't ask who is left behind. This isn't a warning. It's an observation. Systems don't create distance. They don't create loneliness. They don't create silence. They simply stop accounting for it. What continues doesn't need to care, and what no longer matters doesn't trigger alarms. Interpretation remains yours. If this observation stayed with you, this channel continues the same way. No solutions, no motivation, no instructions, only structures, only patterns, only quiet mechanisms that usually go unnoticed. This is DarkSide Protocol. Other divisions of this system exist. Some speak closer to the human voice. Some use humor. Some stay analytical. They don't contradict each other. They look at the same structure from different distances. You're free to explore them or not. The system doesn't require a response.